Well, film critic Ben Croll joins us in the studio. Ben, let's start with, we've just seen Michelle Yeoh there. Who were the real big winners? It's hard not to talk about Everything Everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest winners in Oscar history, actually, surprisingly enough. You know, it only won 7 Academy Awards, but it won 7 of the biggest Academy Awards. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Editing, and then 3 Academy Awards for acting. Best Actress, Michelle Yeoh, Best Supporting Actor, Ke Huy Quan, and Best Supporting Actress, Jamie Lee Curtis. In fact, it is the first movie in almost 50 years to win 3 Academy Awards for acting, and the last one was, I believe, was Network in 1975, 1976. So, I mean, it is kind of a historic thing.
Why?
Well, you know, you mentioned it before. There's something about this film that encompasses all sorts of different elements. You know, the film is about a young, not a young mother at all, a mother who's lived in America for about 30 years. She's immigrated from China, and the family that she started there. And it deals with middle-aged malaise and immigrant dreams, but through a pop culture kaleidoscope. Pardon me. She's a woman who's able to tap into infinite versions of herself from across the multiverse. It's something very common to most pop fiction these days, like Rick and Morty or Doctor Strange. You know, everything has to have this multiverse element, and so the film takes on all these different guises. You know, she's able to become different versions of herself, and so the film has influences from kung fu, as we've seen in the work of Michelle Yeoh, and slapstick comedy, as we've seen in some of the films that even Brendan Fraser got famous for. As we've seen, there's some silliness, like in The Goonies, and so it wears all of these different guises, and at the same time, the Academy is able to celebrate all sorts of different kinds of films that it hasn't really celebrated as much in the past, that all hold together in one film, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And so Michelle Yeoh, an actress most famous for her work in Kung Fu, Ke Huy Quan, Brendan Fraser, 2 actors that actually starred in the 1990s comedy Encino Man together, but are well known for 80s popular films. Jamie Lee Curtis, an actress who won for Best Supporting Actress, who came to fame in the Halloween series. And so in celebrating the actors from this one film, I think it was a way for the Academy to celebrate a whole swath of genres that don't usually get the limelight.
What else should we be looking out for? What else did you pick up? Other winners outside of...
Well, the biggest winner outside of Everything Everywhere All at Once was Netflix's All Quiet on the Western Front. This is a German language adaptation of the very acclaimed World War I novel. The film was actually one of the first, the original adaptation of that from 1932, I believe, was one of the first films to ever win the Academy Award for Best Picture. The remake, or the second adaptation, if you want, didn't pull off that same feat, but it won 4 Academy Awards for a German language film from Netflix, making it actually Netflix's most successful Oscar entry to date, and all the more surprising, one that didn't really have a star or a very famous director. What really hooked voters and what really hooked viewers, I think, was just the strength of the story well told.
Yeah. Obviously, everybody watches now thinking, is there going to be some kind of incident after last year's slap? And there one a few years ago where there was the wrong category.
There was the wrong category.
Tickety boo this time?
There was nothing. And I think this show was very consciously designed to have no incident whatsoever. It was as reassuring as a blanket or as a warm bath. And for good or ill, at the end of the day, we were going to talk about the movies that won, Everything Everywhere All at Once, All Quiet on the Western Front, or we can talk about the movies that didn't win. Elvis came up short, Tar, The Fabelmans,
The Banshees of
Inisherin. All of them were nominated across the board and won in almost no categories. So I think in the years and days to come, we'll talk about the films that won. We'll talk about the films that didn't win, but we won't have that much to say about the show itself. The show was very consciously designed to not make any controversy, to not make any waves, and on that note, it succeeded with flying colors.
Ben Croll, our film critic, thank you so much for taking us through that.